Welcome to Hope to Home, the podcast where hope meets action. I'm Nick, and I'm here with my co-host John. Together, we're shining a light on the stories of resilience and courage from those facing homelessness. Each episode, we break down barriers, spark conversations, and explore how, as a community, we can make a real difference. It's all about understanding and hope, bringing people together to create lasting change. So join us as we journey from hope to home, one conversation at a time.
I mean, I could start from the very beginning if you'd like.
Sure,
but,
absolutely. Well, first off, tell me where I'm going to the. Okay, sorry. I don't really have any idea how to start this. I've never done an on the road podcast before.
So
literally on the road podcast.
I'm gonna look a little further in these woods over here, but you can start the podcast.
Do you want me to go that way?
No, I can walk from right here.
Why don't you just let me drive?
Because it's right there. You ain't no parking spot.
Yeah, you got a parking spot. Might as well stay here.
I'll have to look over the hill right.
All right, people. This is a pit count. What does pit count stand for anymore? I don't even know.
Person in time.
People in time.
People in time. Yeah.
People in time. Are we sure it's not point in time now that you say all this?
Well, I mean, I've heard it say point in time.
I've heard it say point in time. I've heard it say people in time.
Yo, okay, so
I've also heard it say place in time. So P could stand for quite a few things, actually.
Good. We really know what we're doing here. Friends, we appreciate that you have joined this podcast. This is obviously not a normal podcast that we would do. We are in a van, and we're looking for homeless to count them because this is what state of Michigan has us do so that we can get funding for homeless counts. I'm here with Cheyenne. Cheyenne, I haven't even said hi to you because it's just been kind of weird. So hi, Cheyenne. It's good
Hello.
to see you. John, who you're all familiar with, and also David.
Hello.
David. As John would call it, a divine appointment. He was hanging out in Habitat's parking lot, and he said he wanted to come to Three Rivers, and we were doing a point in time count because I'm not normally even in that. I'm normally gone picking up kiddos at that time, but since we're doing this, I wasn't. So
Divine appointments, brother.
So David hopped in the van, and we're in Three Rivers now. And we thought, what better thing to do than let David tell a story while we drive around and look for homeless people and try to count them. So, David,
yeah, I would love it.
Where did your homeless journey start from?
Okay, so
How many ever years ago that was? How many?
Yeah.
Okay, so altogether, I would have to say in my lifetime, I've spent at least 8, maybe years of homelessness. But this last time, it was pretty catastrophic. I mean, I was living the dream. I had 2 cars. I had a house on the lake. I was living in Howe, and I trusted someone, and it led me to an eviction notice or a notice to quit, and like a $3,000 bill, which I didn't have money for. So I had to leave my house.
Where did the $3,000 bill come from?
Oh, that was the rent that I owed. So apparently my landlord, when she didn't get that first payment, she neglected to tell me until I was almost $3,000. Well, I was a little over $3,000 that I owed. So I didn't have it, and I was forced out of my home.
Who did you think was paying that rent?
The girl I was with.
Oh, you thought she was paying
that I was actually on the lease with, to be honest with.
Okay.
And so, I was basically trusting that she knew what she was doing, and she didn't know what she was doing. So I ended up with a bill.
So they never gave you a bill. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So they never gave you a bill in between the first, like when you missed the first month and $3,600 in?
That's the thing. Like when I went to go pay because I had to pay every other week. $350 every other week.
Okay.
So every time I went to pay my $350, my landlord lived right next door to me.
Sure.
So I would just walk over to her house and I'd pay her and she would give me a receipt. 9 times out of 10, she would never have a receipt for me. So I would give her money and never get a receipt back. And so there was really no real record of how much I really truly paid there. we had an understanding to where, if I come and I pay, you attach the receipt to my door. But she never really said that there was any discrepancy. She never really came to the door and said that you didn't pay your rent. You didn't pay your rent. You didn't pay your rent. So,
So basically 10 weeks in.
yeah.
If I'm doing my calculations right.
Right.
Oh no, every 2 weeks you paid $350.
Yeah.
So that'd be 10 payments. That'd be 20 weeks in. So
Yeah.
that's like a lot of months.
Yeah.
So she came and said, "Hey, you need to pay this now."
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't have the cash. I didn't have that type of cash on me.
Sure.
I mean, because I'm living the American dream. I'm making a lot of money. I'm living on a lake. I mean, everything is good. Everything's good. All my bills are getting paid. I'm not worried about it. So
or you think all your bills are getting paid.
Right. And I mean, I had 2 cars. I had a really cool dog, and I thought I had a good woman, but apparently all that was about to end real soon. And
So when you couldn't pay the bill, what happened then?
I packed up my Honda Civic. Yeah, that's right. Honda Civic. And I'm 6'1". And I packed up what I could out of my house and I moved. I left the house, the apartment, and lost a lot of my stuff and I went to Sturgis. And while I was in Sturgis, I stayed at Walmart parking lot.
Okay.
And I lived in my car.
No, for time frame, when is how far back are we? Like
about 2.5, 3 years ago.
Okay, 2.5, 3 years ago. Good
Yep.
enough.
And while I was sitting there living in my car, I was still working. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed that there was more and more homeless people showing up because I guess it's part of Walmart's, the guy who founded Walmart, it's in the contract, I guess, that people that are lost or need a place to stay for the night or whatever, they can come to the Walmart parking lot and stay and they won't get in trouble for it. Apparently it's true because a cop is the one who told me that.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, as long as you move from parking spot to parking spot every 24 hours, we can't do nothing about it unless the store puts out a no trespassing order on you. So that's where I stayed. And then a friend told me about Keystone and I tried to apply for Keystone and they denied me because I had an Indiana ID. And I said I had to go to Elkhart for help.
Okay.
And I just continued to be homeless and then eventually spend all my money on hotels.
So how long were you hanging out in the Meyer parking lot? Or I'm sorry, Walmart parking lot.
Yeah, the Walmart parking lot. I did that for at least 6 months.
Were you working while you were there?
Yeah, I was for a majority of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And every so often, like, I would spend all my paycheck on a hotel room for a few days throughout the week. And, I wasn't able to save money. So I was just constantly in a spot where I couldn't survive.
Sure.
I ended up losing my job and then couldn't pay for my car payments. And
No, why'd you lose your job? Can I ask?
I lost my job because I got hurt at work and I dropped dirty for drugs.
Okay.
And I mean, the depression that I was feeling, all the stuff that I was going through and all, like, what am I going to do? I mean, I've been an addict my whole life. And when you turn to drugs, I mean, it seemed like it was making it easier. Or maybe it was just I was forgetting about my priorities because I was too messed up,
right,
or too high.
It took your mind off.
Yeah,
of,
so
off of some
maybe
of the
that's
issues.
what it is. I don't know what it is, but I relapsed and I started doing drugs again, and then bouncing like a ball wherever the drug took me is pretty much what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
I
you were without work. So how were you paying for drugs?
I didn't have to. Honestly, it's my company. A lot of people, they like my company. So they would actually show up to where I was at, or they would invite me over and I would never have to pay for drugs. But so it made it real hard to stay clean.
Sure.
But when I needed money, I was a door dasher. And since I still had my car, like if I needed gas or if I needed cigarettes or if I needed something to eat, I would always door dash to make a little bit of money to just make ends meet. So DoorDash is actually what kept me going for as long as I have been without a job. And, my biggest thing is I hate money.
So you had a car.
Yep.
And you obviously had a cell phone so that you could DoorDash, and you would pick up DoorDash you'd pick up people's food and you'd take it to their home as a homeless person. How did
Yeah.
like how did that feel? Like,
I mean, to be honest with you, hungry
right?
a lot. You know what I mean? But
Did you ever just want to like? I'm just being legit here. I mean, because if I'm homeless and I'm picking up people's food, did you ever just want to like tear into a bag?
I didn't want my name. Okay, so when I work and I put my name on anything, okay, I put my heart and soul into it. Okay, so I'm never gonna screw that up.
You still have a reputation.
That's yes, exactly. So that's
Sure.
why I have no problem getting a job. It's just this last time I lost everything, I kind of lost the will. Okay, because I was doing everything right and I lost it all. Okay, sober. So
it hurt.
So yes, absolutely. So I lost the will to keep going is what it was. And it took a pastor to tell me that. Because I was so confused about it. I said, I don't know what's going on with me. I'm not disabled. I'm able to work. I just don't want to do it. I'm afraid to lose everything again.
Discouraged.
Right.
So hold on one second. We are back in the pit count. John, was there any homeless people in that encampment?
Nope, there's remnants of homeless being there, but it don't look like they've been there for a while. There was no tracks walking to the places.
Okay, so where are we going now, John? This is the mobile podcast pit count episode.
I know that there's a warming station over here in Three Rivers, and I know that
Where's that at?
I think it's over at it's over by the First Methodist, I do believe. Let me get on my phone because I know my phone.
That church.
I got a text message from a friend.
Isn't helping people like that. That one is it.
So you tell me where to go and then I'll start going.
Goodwill.
Go behind.
Okay,
Goodwill.
I know where Goodwill is. Yeah. So let's get back to your story while I'm what is that carpool karaoke? This is we need a name for that. That's what's really happening here.
Yeah.
So
this carpool podcast yoki.
I like it. There you go.
Podcast yoki.
Okay,
Podcast
you were door dashing for money so that you get what you need on the side.
Yeah,
people were basically giving you drugs when you needed it, quote unquote friends. But I'm not sure how much friends if they're giving you drugs to keep you where you're at.
Exactly.
But we'll go with it.
Let's just call them acquaintances.
Sure, fair enough.
Because I can count on my one hand how many friends I truly have.
We have a saying at our church: "Show us your friends, and we'll show you your future."
Right,
it is true.
That is
so true, guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, I'm door dashing. Just to make ends meet. If I needed gas money, or if I needed cigarettes because I smoke. I think I've only done it a couple of times for drugs because, like I said, I never really had to pay for drugs. But there was a couple of times where I may have made a little extra money and then just threw it somebody's way. But
so what happened next? You're in Sturgis. You're kind of in this loop.
Oh yeah.
And so you're at Walmart. Where did you go? Why did you leave Walmart? And where did you go next?
Well, see, I went to Centerville to talk to Keystone from Sturgis.
Okay.
And that's when they denied me.
Y'all, hold on a second as I'm driving. Michigan roundabouts are the stupidest thing ever made by man. I'm just going to say that right now.
We're going to put that out there on the podcast.
Literally the stupidest thing. Whoever came up with this idea, I love you, but I don't. Only God loves you.
We pray that you straighten the road. Stop making it so roundy.
Let's make a gall-darn left turn. Anyways, moving on. You went to see Keystone.
Yes, and I made it almost halfway through the intake when they realized that I was from Indiana.
This is the first time.
This is the first time.
Okay.
And they told me that they had to stop the intake and I had to go to Elkhart for help. They didn't even want to progress because I was working and they had actually offered to pay.
Lecture?
Yeah. They actually offered to pay for my hotel room for up to 8 months while I stacked money and get my own place.
If you were from Michigan.
If I was from Michigan.
Okay.
And see, that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. I actually had to stop the intake and I had to go to Elkhart for help, but I didn't do that because I don't know Elkhart.
Sure.
I stayed in Three Rivers. I made it to Three Rivers from Centerville because I heard Three Rivers was, more resource. There was more resources here.
Sure.
And it was going to be easier to DoorDash. So I came to Three Rivers and I found out that it was not easier to DoorDash, that it was actually harder. And so I don't know what kept me here. I don't know if it was the people, because there was a couple of people here that I knew. I actually met up with somebody from my own hometown that lives here now. And I stayed with her, stayed around her for a little bit. And
It's clear for you to slip lanes.
so basically, I think what,
Oh, crap. Where's Goodwill at?
Right over here in this park.
yeah, it'll be over here in this parking lot past the gas
well,
station.
they moved. Well, thanks.
Yep.
I
But-
obviously don't
Update.
traverse Three Rivers very often.
Update.
So
be here.
I'm in Three Rivers. Trying to struggle to DoorDash. And
How many years ago was this, brother?
this was about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been homeless this last time for
So
about
where you
3
living in
years.
Three Rivers now that you're in
Um,
Three Rivers?
Like I said, bouncing like a ball.
Okay.
Friends' house, acquaintances. I've been bouncing from house to house. You know what I mean?
You still use it?
If it's hot outside, I would sleep outside. If it was
Sure.
cold, I would try to stay out of the elements and stay at a friend's house for a couple of days. But here in Three Rivers,
But are you still doing drugs at this point in Three Rivers?
oh yeah, I mean, full blown doing
Okay.
drugs. It's
Trying to cope.
yeah,
Coping
trying
mechanism.
to get
Go back.
some type of sense. Yep, all the way around. Trying to get some type of sense of why I'm down this path again. I know that it's not a good path. I've lived it. See, like right back here, I don't see nobody.
Nope, they're gone out of there. I already checked there a little bit ago. But
Oh, you did?
at the end, down there by that big brick building, all the way at the end, there's a spot on the right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and all these trash cans, drive by slow because there might be some people inside of them. I mean, honestly, there might be people inside of them looking for stuff. You know what I mean?
They try not to do it during the day. They try to get here before anybody else opens because
Right?
a lot of times they get the cop call.
Yeah, they do. They do. But I'm at my wit's end, ready to give up. I've already given up on God. I've given up. I've
Okay,
given
but
up.
wait. Well, I get you. But let's stick with where you were at then. So you're bouncing back and forth in Three
Yeah,
Rivers. What
yeah.
happened? And you're full blown drugs, as you said, and
Yeah.
you're just trying to figure out like what's going on and why you're doing this. So, hey John, just in case you need those, I don't have a pen on me though. Okay. Anyway, sorry podcast. You're getting the full experience. Okay. So then what happened? Like what brought you to, what was the next thing? I keep turning down the heat and it just keeps getting
it's
hotter
okay.
in here.
It's I mean, it's just an ongoing thing. Years.
Okay.
I mean, or not years, but like months and months and months of bouncing like a ball, trying to survive off of what money I can make on DoorDash,
Mhm.
and I don't normally eat when I'm getting high, so food wasn't a problem half the time, but it's just drug use, lots and lots of drug use,
Sure.
and it's. I mainly I think it was because I lost all faith. I have lost all faith, and I didn't want to try no more. I had no direction. I just didn't care.
Have you ever been back here where we're looking? Have you ever spent a night?
I actually knew a couple of guys that stayed right here on this corner,
Yeah.
and they're well-known people in this town.
Yeah.
And
But you never stayed back here?
I've never stayed back here. I stayed right out in the open over at Skidmore Park. I slept on the curb at the church that I donated my time to,
Okay.
and helped with the church because the pastor knew me, and he didn't care if I slept on the step. And that was the biggest thing, is like finding a place to sleep, because the cops are trying so hard to push all the homeless out. I mean, they're leveling all the woods. They're,
Mhm.
they're pushing us out. They're giving us less places to feel safe to sleep at. So
what makes you have a choice, or what makes you choose where to sleep? So like you're like, no, I slept in the open. Like why you choose that instead of
so
what these guys are doing back here?
from the very beginning, like when I lost my house at the lake, I chose Walmart to sleep in parking lot because everything's on camera.
Oh, okay. All right.
So if anything happens to me, it's on camera.
You felt
Sure.
safe.
I felt
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. That makes
Because
sense.
I rode around in a $30,000 car.
Sure.
So, I'm not just going to go sleep in some parking lot that's not watched
Sure.
and patrolled. And
Yeah.
what better place than Walmart? Because Walmart's on surveillance, and the police, they patrol it. So I felt
So
safer.
since
So
you had a
if
car,
I
that
wasn't-
made part of you.
That made it a lot
yeah.
easier.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
now,
Okay.
after I lost my car and switched to a 20-inch bike. Like, that's how I got around.
Okay, let's get there in a second. Where are we going now, John, for a pit count? Anywhere else?
He's thinking. It's kind of hard right now because it's so cold. So there's a lot of people that aren't going to be out.
So cruise up towards.
We can go check over by Tent City.
Why do we do pit count in the middle of winter in Michigan?
I don't know.
We need to get somebody on a podcast to answer that question.
I can answer that for you. There's a lot of people that have too heavy a pride. Okay, so they won't ask for help,
But they get.
and they'll sleep out in the cold, regardless if there's somebody that's willing to help them.
But if we counted people in the summer, would there not be more people outside?
There would be more.
There's a lot of people.
There would be more.
Yeah. So why are we counting in the middle of winter?
And in the middle of winter, more than likely, if they do have a place to stay or a friend says they can come there, they're going to go stay because it's so cold.
Yes, exactly. But what's it worth when you find somebody that's out in the cold and is afraid to ask for help or afraid to ask a friend to sleep on the couch?
Yeah.
And that's why
what I mean? What's that worth?
That's fair.
You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, yeah.
That's why I do the homeless street ministry, and I go out and find those people.
Right.
That's the one lost sheep that you have to go find.
All right, so where are we going now?
Head up towards the bridge that got all the paintings.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Park, Skidmore.
Oh, yeah. The
to-
skate park. I know where the skate park's
Yep.
at.
I need to make a left, right, out here at this main road.
Well, you'll have
to
to
get
actually
there.
make a right and
You'll
then a
have to
left.
loop. Yep.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. God bless you all.
You'll have to loop. Bless your loop-de-loop.
Okay, so back to the story. So you're ping ponging around from whatever. So what happened next? You obviously you told us off podcast you made it to Keystone. Right. Is this where you went to Keystone?
So this parking lot right here where Big B is.
We're in okay, thank you. Yeah, good job. You should be a podcaster.
So basically what happened is that months and months and turned to years, okay, bouncing like a ball.
Well, not years, because we're only 3 years or 2 years in. So,
I'm just saying, like this last time I was homeless. Okay, this is the 3 years I've been homeless. This is what I'm talking about.
So yeah,
but it's since I came to this town, this county. Okay, I got in trouble.
What does that mean?
During this whole bouncing around like a ball, right?
Okay,
I get in trouble for selling drugs for the Mexican cartel. And
okay, wait.
Trying to survive on the streets.
Hold the crap. How did you meet the Mexican cartel in this story all of a sudden?
The homeless situation you was in.
I'm just in a homeless situation, and you meet the dirty people. They're everywhere. One person introduces you to another, and that's how it happened.
You're like, hey, David, I've just been hanging out, and I happen to know a guy from the Mexican cartel that you can. I just don't I got to know a little bit more about this story. This
that's the thing. Like some of the story,
and you don't got to give names. I'm not looking for names. I'm just looking for
it's just
wise.
Yeah, house and wise.
Because I was with somebody that knew how to move a lot of product. Okay. And I knew somebody that could actually.
We'll take a left right up.
I knew somebody that could actually hook us up with a lot of product left.
Okay.
So she could get rid of it and I can pick it up. And that's all it was. Is I was basically driving back and forth from Three Rivers to Kalamazoo and picking up drugs and bringing them back here and dropping them off and letting them do the footwork and going and picking up more.
Okay.
So, and I didn't realize.
And you're doing this
I didn't realize.
You knew you were doing this for the Mexican cartel?
That I did not know at first.
Okay.
Okay. I did not know that at first. I thought I was just picking up from a plug.
Okay.
And then the guy that I was with that introduced me happened to be, he said, I think you should know that you're doing this for the Mexican cartel.
Did that scare the crap out of you?
I mean, at first it kind of excited me.
Okay. We got two different versions, but that's cool.
Well, I mean, it kind of excited me. You know what I mean? Like I thought I was.
You're rolling with the big dogs? Is that what you're thinking? Okay.
Yeah. I thought I was rolling with the big dogs.
All right.
Homeless. I do believe. No. Oh, I don't know, man. My whole ensemble is from the free store, bro, and I look sharp. I make homeless look good.
I stopped to talk to us. He said he lived with his sister.
But whoops, sorry. Basically,
don't worry, you're listening to the car that's not your seatbelt.
Scan started watching me.
And that's like a narcotics.
Yeah, it's a narcotics division, and they watched me for a minute.
And that's St. Joe County?
Yes.
Three Rivers?
Yep. And we got in trouble. And that's
because you were
what,
moving product.
I was moving product.
Okay.
And luckily we basically got a slap on the wrist, and there was holes in the report, and they had to throw it out. But we had to plead guilty to a felony. So I had to plead guilty to paraphernalia. At the time, there was a dirty rig. There was a dirty needle, and it was found in my car.
Sorry, I need to shut that because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming in from I'll kill the heat altogether.
So yeah, that's what actually kept me in the county for so long, is because I was going through the probation and everything. And
So did you go to jail for that?
no, I mean, I went to jail for probably about 3 months total.
And then so you got out pretty quick and were on probation.
Yeah. And then,
Do I turn here?
nope, keep going.
Okay.
Like right past, let me see, it's going to be right past the coffee shop. There'll be a road, the road that goes down, that's where that truck's at. That's the road you want.
I think I do. Okay.
Oh, it's right past the railroad tracks.
Much now.
So basically I got in trouble, and that's what kept me in this county.
Okay. So 3 months, you get out, and then what happened after that?
Well, I mean, my probation wasn't very long, so I just continued to do drugs.
While you were on probation, weren't you afraid you were going to get caught and sent back to jail?
Well, no, because my probation was only like 6 months.
Okay. So did you wait to do drugs until after your probation? Were you clean for 6 months?
No, because I didn't care.
Okay. All right. Because of the drugs, really, as you think, or
No, because I just didn't care. Like I said, I didn't have any.
Before you found Christ.
I didn't have any ambition. I didn't have any faith. I didn't have
left here. Or
yeah,
what am I
right
doing?
there. I didn't have any love for myself, to be honest with you.
Oh, it's such a good statement. That makes
honestly, I didn't care about myself or others or anything. I didn't care about my life.
Were you still in Three Rivers at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, bouncing from
Do you want me over here,
Three
John?
Rivers
Is that
to
what you want?
Sturgis. I mean, like I said, when I say bouncing, I'm bouncing from. I stayed in this county, so I made it from Bronson to Sturgis to Centerville to Three Rivers, and it was just everywhere.
Do you want us to get out with you? We can do this while we walk.
Yeah, let's do that, because I like this place, and my graffiti's on this wall, so I'm gonna go check it out.
Your graffiti. You got to point out the graffiti. I need to know now.
All right.
All right. So we're getting out, guys, at the downtown dog park in Three Rivers, just in case anybody wants to really know what's going on here. We're probably just going to roll with all this, is my plan. So, excuse me if there's some wind, because we're now out and about.
Yep.
So, do we need to go in here to get there?
Nope.
Okay. You probably know your way around.
Clear over here to the corner of this bridge.
Okay.
But I spent most of my time bouncing from city to city. Well, Sturgis to Three Rivers to Centerville to all over this county.
So we got to almost be like just a year ago at this point.
Well, I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
But I was no direction for my life at all. I was letting the drugs direct me.
Yeah.
So
you'd go wherever the next person would give you your next high, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so what happened from there?
So I found a spot. It started getting cold. Okay, and this was just recently, like less than I want to say probably about, well, I've been clean for 60 days, so that's 2 months. I would say at least 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay.
I'm staying at a shack of this abandoned house. And
what city are we in?
We're in Three Rivers.
Okay.
And I'm actually trying to get out of the elements, okay? And I find this abandoned house, and it's got this little shack, and I'm sleeping in this shack, but I'm coming and going when it's dark out, so nobody sees me.
Okay.
But
hold on, I need to hold on a second. We are now under a bridge in Three Rivers, still looking for homeless, just so we all know where we're at. Is that you?
Prorated. That's me. Prorated.
Prorated.
Yep, there's a story behind that too.
Okay, well, you can tell me that in a second. Can I take a picture of it? Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'll take a picture of it. All right, cool.
So I'm staying in this shack, and I'm in this shack for probably about 2-3 weeks, right? And not knowing that the person who bought this abandoned house actually lives right next door.
I know, really?
And he times it because he's seeing the flashlights.
Yeah, so he knows somebody's there, right?
He knows somebody's there. So, yeah, watch your step. He's seeing people come and go, because I have friends that are, coming and going to get me high, right?
Sure.
And he times it just right to where he shows up as I was leaving.
Okay.
And he gets out. He shows up in a really nice, all blacked out SUV, and I thought it was the cops at first.
Sure.
And he shows up, gets out of the car, and it's a colored guy, okay? And he's got a gun at his hip.
Oh, jeez.
And he's saying, what are you doing on this property?
Thank you for listening to part 1 of David's story. We do know that there was some disturbance in the audio due to wind and walking and just the fact that we were all over the place. But we felt the content was too important to cut to save the quality of the audio. So we hope you'll bear with us. This isn't our normal audio quality for our podcast. We hope you'll join us in 2 weeks for the ending part 2 of David's story. Thanks for listening to Hope to Home. And that, friends, wraps up another episode of Hope to Home. We'd love to hear your thoughts or any questions you have about homelessness or anything we discussed today. If you have a service to offer or a personal story about homelessness, reach out. We'd love to feature you on a future episode. And most importantly, if you're listening right now and you are in the midst of your own struggle with homelessness and aren't sure where to turn, please don't hesitate to contact us. We'll do everything we can to help. For any of these, you can reach us at hopetohomecast@gmail.com or on Facebook at facebook.com/hopetohomecast. And be sure to join us right back here every other Friday for more inspiring conversations. Thanks for being with us, and remember, together, we can bring hope to home.